has been a profound shock to Europe. I think that Vance visit to Munich and the things he said there about Europe went pretty deeply into people's souls, and therefore we are now finally in what the Germans call a Zeitenwender, a change of era. I don't think things will go back. It is too late.
If we look at what Donald Trump's taken on in his first 100 days, he's promised peace in Ukraine. He's got a deteriorating situation in the Middle East. His focus is clearly on China, and I might touch on that a little bit more in a second, and looking at that. But he's also got this Doge campaign ripping apart the US political infrastructure to create huge savings and all the rest of it. And then he's got an economic war that he's starting with some of his closest friends around the world, never mind those that he sees as hostile states. Any one of those activities for a competent, capable, experienced government would take the whole of a presidential term or a parliamentary term to deal with. He's doing it all at once. Does he have the horsepower to deal with it?
And we're not even at 100 days yet, Philip, just to remember that.
Exactly.
He's also had a go at the Houthis, and he's threatened Iran. And so, I mean, this is what they call flooding the zone. No, he doesn't have the bandwidth to deal with all this. These are not going to be problems that are solved, by a presidential wave of the hand or a threat of tariffs. So he is finding the world is more complicated and more difficult, more recalcitrant than perhaps he was thinking when he came in thinking that he was the master of the world.
Why was Europe not more proactive in preparing for what was happening? Because we wouldn't be in the same economic situation today if we did.
That is true. I think we were all suffering from optimism bias.
Interesting. You mentioned J.D. Vance at Munich. We also J.D. Vance in Greenland, and re-emphasizing Donald Trump saying, we have to take it. How do you think Vladimir Putin is seeing this and Xi Jinping is seeing this from a long-term perspective, considering they're not thinking in 100 days or a presidential term, they're thinking in generations as they approach things. Who's going to win this thinking game and geopolitical maneuvering game?
Well, the Chinese are pretty good at thinking long term. And so, yes, they will certainly be thinking in generational terms. Putin, I think, is in a pretty desperate position, trying to cling on to power, having made a major gamble in Ukraine. And although he hasn't lost the war, strategically, he's lost a great deal already. He's had a strengthening effect on NATO, enlarging of NATO that would never have happened without this. But Trump, in his rush to kind of break things and see what happens, isn't putting the pieces together clearly, because yes, he wants a geopolitical alliance with Russia. That's clear. He sees big goodies for the Americans in terms of relationships with Russia, including in oil and gas.